So today wasn't necessarily all that different of a day. Lots of noise going on in Reddit's echo chamber, brainless drones coming to stir up drama in the YouTube comment section, and a lot of behind the scenes work that is currently sitting suspended in limbo until the universe sees fit to set it free. However, while I had tons of ideas for today's video, it felt like every topic lacked passion and fell a bit drab on the backdrop of current events. That is until I found an amazing article by an amazing woman that silenced the noise and told me to get the fuck off my ass, get back to work, and slap on one big smile. Because, as one of my amazing beautiful commenters put it, if you ain't got haters, you ain't poppin'. Now, the article in question was titled, "I'm Not a Unicorn, I'm a Gamer." And since I could never do the article justice, I highly encourage you to check it out via the link in the description box. She basically chronicles her childhood experiences of how she was treated as a female gamer, finding a community that embraced her, and leaves us with a few words of wisdom. Honestly, this touched me quite deeply as I shared very similar experiences with her as a gamer, with a Y. She noted, "For a 12-year-old girl to be playing first-person shooters on Xbox Live at the time, I experienced firsthand and frequently the power that anonymity gives teenagers online. It wasn't pretty. I was called every terrible name you've heard, propositioned by boys who were probably much older than me, taunted with rape jokes and harassed in more ways than one. It was upsetting, degrading, and I developed a very acute fear of using voice comms or giving away my gender online." And honestly, this sounds like the same era I was raised in, where I avoided first-person shooters due to the inherently toxic community and only thought it was safe for me to play less testosterone-driven games like Nintendo properties or RPGs. But to be frank with you, I was absolute shit at Mario Kart and all I really wanted to do was fire off grenade launchers. But even in recent times, it is very obvious that this boys club still exists to some degree, hiding behind their keyboards and internet anonymity to try and shame those that are different into watering our identities down. I mean, if red text is praised and reposted for talking about finishing someone else's load, what's the difference if I do it? Why is it okay for channels like Funhouse, which I personally adore, to put out videos called Star Whores, Buttman and Choke Her, and Robin Clitoral Hood, but I can't talk about balls on a dildo? She went on to say, "Now, at nearly 27 years old, my full-time job is playing video games. Every day for 8+ hours, I live stream video games for an audience. I've worked with some of the biggest game developers and tech companies in the world, been featured on stages and panels at conventions, raised money for charity through gaming. Hell, I've even been invited to the White House to play games. Over time, I've absolutely seen a vast improvement in people's attitudes towards women who game online, but there is still work to do." Now, admittedly, 10 or so years can make a big difference in the way society views certain genders, races, and sexual orientations. When I started this channel, I didn't think that there would be a possibility that someone like me could amass such an amazing audience filled with diverse, intelligent, hilarious individuals that can feel safe to be as kooky or off the wall as they want, just as long as they are respectful of the environment. When the Warframe fan channel program started up, I definitely didn't think that I'd be accepted in, and in no way did I expect them to invite me to play with them in charity events, on prime time, and fly me out as a TennoCon VIP last year and again this year. And while much of the social landscape has changed, there are still some of those who hide behind false criticism to smokescreen the true nature of their prejudice. She then goes on to talk about how we can improve this landscape. "I think a lot of guys are afraid of standing up for women online because other guys will accuse them of being a quote-unquote white knight. I've seen it happen countless times to my viewers." And with the backdrop of this amazing Captain America comic panel, she goes on to say, "Don't let them stop you from being a good person. Stand up for other people when it's right. Be willing to accept the sneers of lesser men in favor of being a good man." The fact is, there are cesspools of Warframe society who only exist as echo chambers for angry little boys to share their misguided interpretations of reality, in order for them to find validation. They intimidate out other opposing points of view with their outpouring of toxicity, scaring away anyone with the intent to speak against them, and those with enough mental acuity to refute their claims and stand their ground are labeled as arrogant or know-it-alls, even though they stand as the singular voice of reason in a sea of clamoring lemmings. And maybe it's the fact that these environments still exist that people are quite surprised to see individuals that are different from themselves representing in the world of gaming. Maybe you've somehow managed to never encounter a woman in games online. I doubt that's possible, but let's just say it's true. For the love of all gods, old and new, do not blurt out, "Oh god, is that a girl? Are you a girl?" Now honestly, this just makes me laugh because to this day I still get comments asking, "Are you really gay?" With most follow-up resulting in the fact that they thought it was a joke. Why would you think it's a joke? How is being gay a joke? She then moved on to make one of her biggest points. I have a huge amount of respect and admiration for the guy streamers I've met who work hard every day for their success, but I also think that some people put women at a negative starting point by assuming that any successful female streamer who they see is simply relying on their gender to get ahead. They don't afford me and women like me the same automatic assumption. They don't think we worked hard to find our success. They think it was handed to us. People only watch you because you're a girl. Closing that thought out, she finished with, expressing bigoted ideas says more about you than the person you're directing them at. And let's face it, these people play the same broken record over and over. Regardless of whether it's for female streamers or a content creator like me, they try to delegitimize my work by saying, people only watch you because you're gay, or you're using your homosexuality to get views. And while I do like to make vulgar jokes like many other male content creators, the only reason they're gay is because I happen to be gay. They give no credit to my ability to analyze and break down stats, pinpoint issue areas on weapons, produce endgame builds, and simplify mechanic-intensive interactions because all they can see is the gay jokes. And when they're confronted by that reality, they run around screaming social justice warrior to continue to delegitimize any accurate statements made about them. All because they can't comprehend the fact that they themselves are the bad guy. With all of that said, it is absolutely amazing to see that two completely different people with no personal contact are running into the same types of trials. The same regurgitated copy and pasted responses by those who lack the intellect to think critically as opposed to bandwagoning blindly. It's inspiring to see someone who's been put through the gauntlet and came out on the other side as a beacon, not just to women, not just to a gay man, but to all people that you can succeed in the gaming world without the approval of the boys club. So on this International Women's Day, I cheer an inspiring role model who reminded me that none of us are alone, that we are all fighting the same fight and we can and will win. I can only hope that this November on International Men's Day that we find someone equally as inspiring. So thank you all for listening to yet another editorial. Be sure to check out the original article in the links as well as my previous editorials. Now don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye!